It's 11:47 p.m. The drive-thru is still open. Headlights, idling engines, a line that doesn't end. A man leans out his window, orders a burger, fries, a drink. 90 seconds later, he's holding a paper bag and a receipt that reads $12.47. That's it. That's the whole transaction. But here's what nobody in that line is thinking about. Behind that bag is one of the most sophisticated money-making machines in modern America. Because the strange part isn't how many burgers get sold every night, across every city, in every state. It's how much business gets built around each one. And once you understand where the money actually comes from, you may never look at a fast food restaurant the same way again. Most people assume the equation is simple. Restaurant sells food, restaurant makes money. Sell enough burgers, get rich. But that's not how this works. Not even close. Behind every burger sold tonight, there's rent, utilities, equipment that breaks and needs replacing, employees who need to be paid, trained, scheduled, packaging, waste, delivery trucks, advertising budgets, taxes. Revenue is not profit. A location can ring up thousands of dollars a day and still be fighting for margin on every single item. So here's the real question. Why would anyone build an empire around a product that's this hard to make seriously profitable, one transaction at a time? Because the burger might only be one piece of the machine. Start with the part most customers never think about. The person behind the counter might not even work for the company whose name is on the sign. In a franchise system, a corporation doesn't have to personally run every location. Instead, independent operators, franchisees, can run individual restaurants under the brand in exchange for fees, royalties, and other payments defined in their agreements. Think about what that means. A company can expand into thousands of locations using capital and labor that isn't its own. Someone else signs the lease. Someone else hires the staff. Someone else takes on the day-to-day risk of running that building. Imagine building thousands of businesses without personally staffing a single front counter. The corporation isn't only selling burgers, it's selling the right to operate inside a system that already works. Now follow the money somewhere even less obvious. The ground underneath the restaurant. Visibility, traffic count, parking, drive-through access, highway exits, population density within a 5-minute drive. These aren't small details. In the world of fast food, they can be the difference between a location that thrives and one that quietly fails. In some major franchise systems, the real estate itself becomes a critical part of the financial structure. Not every chain operates this way, and not every location is owned outright. But for some of the biggest names in fast food, property has become as central to the business as the menu. The sign above the building says, "Restaurant." The balance sheet underneath it can tell a very different story. Now think about why you actually go there in the first place. You don't want to sit down. You don't want to cook. You don't want to wait. You want something fast, predictable, and familiar, and you want it now. That's why the drive-thru changed everything. It isn't just a window where food gets handed out. It's a system built to move people through as quickly as possible, without sacrificing the sense that they're being taken care of. And here's the number that actually matters to the business: revenue per hour. A restaurant only has so much space and so many open hours in a day. The faster it can move customers through, the more sales that same square footage can generate. The faster the line moves, the more customers that same piece of real estate can serve. But speed alone doesn't explain the size of these companies. Something else has to happen once you're already in line. Want fries with that? Make it a large? Add a drink? Try the new one. It comes as a combo. This is upselling, and it's one of the oldest tricks in retail. Not because it's manipulative, but because it works on simple math. Not every add-on is hugely profitable on its own, but a small increase in the average order, repeated across thousands of transactions a day, stops being small. Picture a chain that adds just a few extra dollars to the average order across all its locations, every single day, for a year. That number stops looking like pocket change fast. The billion-dollar question isn't always how much one burger earns. It's how many times the system can repeat the transaction. Which brings us to the part of this machine that has nothing to do with food at all. Habit. Same logo, same menu layout, roughly the same taste, city to city, coast to coast. Same ordering process, whether you're in Ohio or Arizona. That sameness isn't an accident. It's the entire point. A customer who visits once is worth very little to a company like this. A customer who comes back every week, for years, is worth an enormous amount, even if they only ever order the same $8 meal. That's customer lifetime value, and it flips the entire question on its head. The most valuable customer isn't the one who spends the most today, it's the one who keeps coming back. Now look at the menu itself, not as a list of food, but as a pricing engine. Combo meals that make the bundle feel like the smart choice. Premium items that make the regular menu look like a bargain by comparison. Limited time offers that create urgency. Size options that quietly shift what feels normal to order. None of this is unique to one chain, and not every pricing decision is some deep psychological trick. Pricing gets shaped by costs, competition, demand, and what customers are willing to accept, tested and adjusted constantly. You think you're choosing lunch. The business is quietly measuring what you're willing to pay for it. Now pull the camera behind the building to the part almost nobody sees. Before that burger ever reaches a customer's hand, the ingredients had to be sourced, processed, packaged, shipped, stored, and prepared. The same way at thousands of locations every single day. That consistency is not easy. It requires enormous coordination, forecasting demand, negotiating with suppliers at massive scale, building distribution systems that can move food to thousands of kitchens without failing. The real advantage isn't simply buying ingredients cheaply. It's turning one restaurant's recipe into a system that can be reproduced almost identically thousands of times over. What would happen if you could turn one successful restaurant into thousands of nearly identical operating machines? That question is where the brand comes in. When you see that logo from the highway, you already know roughly what you're getting. What the food looks like, what the price range is, what the experience feels like before you've even pulled in. That familiarity removes uncertainty, and companies spend billions over decades building it through advertising, sponsorships, promotions, and constant exposure. A fast food chain isn't only selling food, it's selling familiarity at a scale most other businesses can't touch. And now, that same machine is going digital. Mobile ordering, loyalty programs, delivery apps, self-service kiosks, personalized deals that show up on your phone right when you're deciding where to eat. The restaurant isn't just a building with a kitchen and a counter anymore. It's becoming a building, plus an app, plus a delivery network, plus a rewards system that quietly tracks what you order and when. None of this means your personal data is simply being sold off. But it does mean the company understands your habits in a way it never could before, and it's using that understanding to keep you coming back. Now put it all together. Franchising, so the brand can expand without funding every location itself. High transaction volume, moving thousands of customers through the same doors every day. Convenience, so people choose speed over almost anything else. Repeat customers, worth far more over years than any single order. Pricing, engineered to shape what feels reasonable to spend. Brand power, so familiar it removes the need to think. Supply chain scale, turning one recipe into thousands of identical operations. And technology, quietly learning your habits every time you order. No single burger creates a billion-dollar empire. The system does. Go back to that $12.47 purchase at the drive-thru window. Look at it again, and this time, see everything standing behind it. The franchise agreement that let that location exist, the real estate strategy that decided where it would sit, the drive-thru system engineered to move that car through in under 2 minutes, the upsell that turned a $5 order into a $12 one, the brand that made the choice feel automatic, the supply chain that got the ingredients there on time, every time, the habit that will bring that same customer back next week, the app quietly keeping score. You thought you were buying lunch. The company was running a machine, and that machine doesn't need one customer to spend a fortune. It needs millions of customers to spend a little, again and again and again. That's the real lesson hiding inside every fast food transaction. The most powerful businesses in America don't always make their money from one big sale. They build systems that can repeat a modest transaction at a scale most people never stop to picture. The burger was never the whole business. The real product was convenience. The real advantage was scale. And the real money was hidden inside the system connecting them. So next time you pull into a drive-thru at midnight and the light from the menu board hits your windshield, ask yourself the question that started all of this. Are you buying a burger, or are you stepping into one of the most efficient business machines ever built?